guys I hope you're doing well. I just started a little shop on Patron, and the product that you'll see there if you go is a small collection of my biggest papers while I was in feminism about how disability has been relegated to like an invisible space where either we're not seeing at all or we're seeing very monolithically. And what I mean by that is that we're either seen as really angry in the writings that they do have, or if you find them trying to research papers, it's all about how the society has let people with disabilities down, and that can really cause issues mentally. I've experienced it. I'm back in therapy because of it, which, by the way, is one of the reasons if you look at the prices 10, even though it's such a small thing, because even with reduced prices, my therapy for a week is still $100, and even though it's an invoice at the end of the month, it's still quite a bit of money when you have restricted funds. But I really want to, as a friend said, take responsibility for my own mental health, and to do that I just need funds. And I'm not destitute, guys, but it's just it still gets expensive, right? And I really feel that therapy right now needs to be a bit more consistent, which means more bills. So that's the reason it's $10. Another reason is after, I'm feeling a bit better and I'm a little less twitchy right now, as Greg Ferguson says, after that's all said and done, because it was really hard to keep seeing yourself in such a negative context, and because there's something known as hostile environment harassment, and that's when nothing happens. It's not like quid pro quo harassment when it's obvious, but a hostile environment harassment is when somebody just feels like something's gonna happen, and the stress of the anticipation at that workplace or at that school can cause psychological issues. And so that's what started happening with me. So I really want to heal that, but I also want to heal others later by starting a non-profit organization. And when I told Mom this idea, she's like, I love you, but you're a student, she's like, I love you, and sure, but how are you gonna get the funds? And so this is a way to give up those funds, so that I can help people, motivate people to fight for social change, to make them feel like, okay, I'm not stereotypes, I'm loved no matter what. And I think that is so important, because I ran into people that I speak of in the first paper. I ran into people who at camp were like really, a special needs camp, were like really like rock the ballsy. And then when I met them at school, because we were just trying to keep our heads down, and just get done because the services were bad, but I said, being a naive 19-year-old, I said, do you want to fight with me? Like, do you want to advocate with me? And he looked at me, and I'll never forget the look on his face, because it looked like, oh, you poor kid, you're about to get in, and I don't want to break it to you. But he said to me something that broke my heart, which was, I've lost my fight. Like, he was still a happy guy, but he was just like, I am so done trying to fight a system that does not listen kind of deal. And I've experienced that a lot with others too. And so I really want to get the message out there that this is what's happening, because it's like a silent, it's hard to say, but it's almost like a silent sterilization program, because we're not forcing people to be like physically sterilized. No one knows, but when you keep putting so many social barriers in the way of people with disabilities, they just get to the point where it's just like, we have to be realistic. This isn't gonna happen. And, or they get to the point where it's like, screw able-bodied people. You know, like, we can do this all ourselves, and it's like, neither perspective is good. Because the one perspective just cuts ourselves off from any change, and the other perspective, I believe this is just my opinion, cuts us off from healing. But as I say that, I understand the second opinion and the first, because, as I said, it's hard. It's hard when you keep sending emails and keep getting that, we appreciate your concern, click, you know, and it's hard to keep the hope. But I hope these essays, and don't worry, at the end of these essays, I put like this little ending on ways you can actually help out. So it's not like one of those times when you watch a really sad thing on YouTube and they're like, okay, bye. You know, climate change is destroying us, okay, bye. It's like, okay, now you just scared me. How can I help you? You know, so don't worry, I do have that in there. And the last thing is, I do use the metaphor of sexual assault and raping, how I began to feel after 3 years of really starting to notice this invisibility thing. And so, for anyone who's experienced like physical, or maybe they had a jerk boyfriend who loved them and really loved, or said that they loved them and then left them. I'm not saying it's equal, but what I'm saying is that's what it felt like. And so I do want to put that little warning there that is in there. If you're interested, it is on the Patron page, and I will put the link in the description below this video. Please leave a comment of how you find it if you do read it, because I want your feedback. All I ask is, and I know this is very much my time period, being, you know, part of the 90s baby, but all I ask is that that the criticism is constructive. Like, if you don't like how I wrote it, if you don't like how I wrote the errors, fine, but just, you know what, say what you want, because that's part of freedom of speech, right? I just hope that we can work together and tearing each other down. So, yeah, that's the thing for today, and everybody take care, and I hope you find this interesting. God bless, and whether you do or don't look at the book and the little teaser in Patron, that's fine, but just wish me luck, and God bless. And God, I give this and give it back to you now. Amen. God bless you, everyone. Have a good day.